Okay. Welcome to Rise Up CX Talks. This is the podcast where we discuss ideas and strategies on how to transform experience into business growth. I am Camila Ferreira. I'm your host. I'm an international speaker, a CX leader, and more recently, an author. So look for Long Live CX on Amazon. And today I have the pleasure to chat with Ana Costa. And for me to introduce her, she's so amazing and she has done so many things. I'm going to have to look here for all of her credentials. But Ana is a certified somatic and trauma informed love, sex, and relationship coach and conscious dating coach. So I can't wait, Ana, to learn everything from you. It's such a pleasure to host you here. And with no further ado, please introduce yourself and tell people what kind of experiences that you drive.
Thank you, Carmela, for having me on your Rise Up CX Talks podcast. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here and share my story and what I do with you today and discuss all these beautiful strategies and things that are so important when we are in business and also entrepreneurs. So I basically come from a corporate background, but I transitioned into this career because of the pain of my life and struggle that I had with my love life and relationships. And I basically teach women how to navigate landscapes of love, sex, and relationship with truth and feminine power. What does that mean? For me, truth and honesty are the highest values that exist in this world, and I genuinely believe that if people were just fully honest, if they had this courage and capacity to be fully honest, to be truthful, to not fall into like even white lies and like going away with some small lies because it's easier or whatever, especially when it comes to relationships and love life, because this is where the trust is really the foundation of everything. People would be much happier and they would have much better life if they really based their experiences, their existence, their connections on honesty and the truth. And this is what I teach women, no matter how hard it is out there and whatever we face, we should always try to be honest. And then there's this concept that I developed of compassionate honesty, because I'm not from brutal honesty or radical honesty. Like, we always want to be aware of other people's feelings as well and not to hurt them. So there is a way to be honest and be compassionate at the same time. And then the second part of the feminine power is all of that I bring on in my work with really connecting to your intuition and wisdom as a woman. Bodies are different than male bodies. They function, on a different cycle. Yes, I also got certified as a womb circle facilitator because I'm so fascinated with the power of the female body and the intuition and the wisdom that it holds. So that's what I mean when I say feminine power, really getting more in tune with yourself so that you can just be capable to make better decisions, make better choices, and trust yourself. Because as long as you can trust yourself, you can also easily or in an easier way trust others. Because when you trust yourself, you can discern to decide, who's honest, who's not honest, and all these things. And this is what I teach women in my programs, in my retreat, and all the experiences that I offer. But we'll talk about it later. But in a nutshell, yeah, this is me. I'm also a mom. I have two boys, one teenage and one 5-year-old. My love life is amazing, and I always I like to say that for people to hear so that they know it's possible. I've been together now with my husband for almost 10 years. We're married for almost 7, and he told me recently, I feel like our sex is getting better and better over time. And I'm like, yes, thank you for saying that. And I agree. And I was like, we need to rewrite this narrative that, once you get married and have kids, everything fades away and stops. So I always like to bring that up because it is possible. But once you focus on that aspect of it, once you want to make it work, and we all focus so much on our careers, on our professional development, but often neglect those, people neglect health because of careers, right? We'll talk about exhaustion and all of that, but people also neglect their loved ones, and what actually, the closest people in their life and their relationships. So this is what I stand for, because I had this pain that I was kind of stuck in a very toxic and dysfunctional relationship, and been experienced mental and emotional abuse, and my love life hasn't been that great anyways, right? And that's what pushed me to this direction, to come and do this work and kind of switch my career. So yeah, this is in a nutshell about me. I come from Serbia. This is where my family is from, but ever since I just graduated university, I moved abroad, and since then I've been kind of an expat. So I lived in different countries, mainly in Europe, to Germany, Switzerland, and now I'm in Greece. So yeah, this is more or less my background.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. I think just your introduction would give us an hour of podcast with so many things to unpack. But I like a
Yeah.
couple of things that you mentioned, and I can tell you it resonated to me very much. I recently transitioned out of corporate as well, and now I can see from outside the layers that we add to ourselves to be in corporate, and what are the consequences of doing this, right? So it's been just 4 months in my case, but I can tell that the relationship with my kid, who is 5 years old, improved exponentially. We are way more connected. I am way more present at home as well. So again, I'm very grateful for corporate, but we have to be conscious, and that's exactly what you said that resonated very much. We got to be conscious about our relationships, what are the things that we do, and the priorities that we give to the different things in life. Okay, so let's talk about retreat, because I heard that word, and you came from corporate, you came from a trauma, right? So you were not happy with the life you were living, and you decided to change it. And I think this is so important. And look at you right now. So that transition, I'm pretty sure that you look back to corporate with different eyes, and you see how many things that you have done and how you can use these, all the experiences that you have gone through yourself, that you can use to help other women. So tell us about the retreat, what it is, what is this experience?
Yeah, so my retreat is called Unleashed Retreat. Unleashed simply because I think that all the women should be unleashed in their power, unleash their feminine power. So this retreat is all about that feminine power, that second pillar that I help women with. It is all about tuning into the innate wisdom of your body through different guided somatic practices that I bring in there. The retreat is happening in Greece, in a tiny little island called Koufonisia. So if you kind of like see the Aegean Sea, there's like Greece and Turkey, and like in the middle of the Aegean Sea, there's this tiny little island that has only 400 inhabitants. And you can only come there by a boat, because there's no airport in this island. You can come to like nearby airports and islands, or like to Athens, and then you need to take a boat to come to this retreat. To this island. And this is such a unique place because it's so wild and rocky, and this whole area, it's like a group of Cycladic islands. The most famous Cycladic islands are Santorini, Mykonos, Minos, Paros, all of this, but Koufonisia is like a group of small Cyclades somewhere there, and it's close to the archaeological island called Keros, where this island is completely locked for archaeological purposes. Nobody can access that. So it has this ancient energy, and it has the most beautiful beaches with white sand as well. People in Greece, they call it kind of Caribbean of Aegean Sea. It's really stunning. So this retreat is all about taking women through the experience of experiencing deep rest, which is kind of like the retreat is 6 days long, and we have 5 nights, 6 days, so 5 different themes. It's rest, release, reconnect, rest, release, reset, reconnect, and rewild. So we are going on that journey of understanding, and every day we have 2 or 3 different somatic workshops or practices where you are experiencing the rest, the release, the reset, the reconnect, and rewilding, kind of experiencing that journey, learning those practices that I have collected in my life for the past decade that were supporting me on this journey of, being a single mom, single expat mom, working full time and living abroad, to transforming my love life, getting into finding a great partner, restarting my love life, having that healthy relationship while maintaining my career, and then transitioning into this career eventually, which it's kind of like happened organically from that traumatic journey that I had to experience. So this is collection of all these practices that I have learned on my journey by myself with my coaching, training, and certification, and intuitively. And it's just a summary of all of that, but in that kind of like a guided journey. And it is kind of the next deeper level of feminine self-care that goes beyond spas, bubble baths, whatever, like pampering. It really is very somatic, because importance of listening to our bodies. I think nowadays we understand more because a lot of people talk about it. It's not enough to just, go to therapy, even though I know a lot of people don't even do that. It's not enough to just talk. You have to connect those pieces of body and mind. And this is what I do in my coaching, but this is what is happening also at the retreat. And then you can bring all these practices back home. They are not something that you can only do at a retreat somewhere far away from your home in a jungle or a wild place. Because I live in Athens, I live in a big city, my kids go to school. I have a very kind of, how is that? Kind of like a mainstream life, It's like, I'm not living in a jungle in Costa Rica or Bali.
Kids,
Yeah. I'm not living in a jungle in Thailand or Copenhagen or Costa Rica. I'm living in a city. I have like this kind of very mainstream life. But then the beauty of that is that you have to take care of yourself on a deeper level also in these urban areas, because it is just not enough sometimes to go to an annual checkup to your doctor, and doctors sometimes cannot always help everybody. And my line has always been, I'm my own best doctor first. Because I'm tapped into my intuition, I can feel what's going on, and I can help my doctor, look into places where maybe they didn't think they needed to look, if there is a need for that. So this retreat is really giving you a chance to have a deeper connection with your body, deeper wisdom, deeper intuition that helps you boost your vitality, aliveness as a woman, that then serves you obviously in all aspects of your life. It serves you, at the work. It helps you make better decisions. It also serves you in your love life and in relationships, and be a better mother to your kids. Because I always say, like, happy parents raise happy children. If you are happy, you're like mirror to your children. They will automatically be happy. So for me, this is just like a next level of, as I said, feminine self-care that you can take away home, because you learn all of these things, and there are like really small, there are some really small things that you can do on a daily basis, mix them up, switch them up, and really nourish yourself in a deeper way. So that's what the Unleashed Retreat is about. And since you asked me, I'm just going to say that I had it first time around last year, and we had 10 women, plus the 2 of us, host and my co-host. We were from 9 different countries. I found that like fascinating, because there were like so many different nationalities. And people flew over from Brazil, people flew from Dubai, a lot of like expat women that are in Europe. Like I had I'm so proud of that, because that's what my background is also, like being, an immigrant, being an expat, living in a foreign country, speaking several languages. It's not always easy. So it's nice to have that kind of international group of women gather together and then be taken on that journey. So that's what it is about. And then to address your question of like what I take from my corporate journey and that is serving me in my work today is I used to for the last, I don't even know how many years, for sure 7-8 years of my corporate career. So I was for 15 years in corporate. I also um, completed my MBA while being in corporate. So I have like one master degree and an MBA. It's all like business, economics, all of that. And then I ended up working in internal audit in DHL. I mean, you can see that from my LinkedIn. I don't need to hide. I don't know if it's allowed to mention this, but yeah, I'm not there anymore. So I was running, this global team, being in charge of different of a specific region, designing these audits. Also, obviously, before that, I traveled to a lot of places, and I found. Because we were auditing processes, it wasn't just like finance, account statements audit or finance, auditing various processes, customer service, one of them, like sales, operations, all of that. You always need to have like that fresh perspective of like observing things from the distance and like seeing what may not work in this process and how can we make this process better or more efficient. So this is what I bring from my corporate experience to my work. I really know how to kind of zoom out and then ask really good questions. And a lot of clients, when they give me feedback, they say like, Anna really knows how to ask those like probing questions, and sometimes even like really tough questions that don't let you escape your own kind of, so to say, bullshit. And you really need to kind of face yourself. So yeah, that's what was really helpful for me in coaching, because I was already very trained to spot these things and kind of like reflect it back to people, because that's what coaching is all about. You hire a coach so that they can reflect the truth and whatever they see and discern like about you and mirror it back so that you can, grow better, have a better life, whatever your goal is. So I'm not your friend who will just tell you all the things that you want to hear, right? So I really ask whatever I feel is going to be serving you, so that you can just overcome yourself or self-sabotage or whatever, reach your goal. So that's
Wow, amazing. My
that's
goodness.
that's what it is about.
But yeah, one of the things that you mentioned that again resonated very much is that I think that we as women, we are naturally people pleasing. We are
Yes.
constantly serving others, be your partner, your kids, your manager, your friends, doesn't matter, right? So we are naturally people pleasing. But when it comes to self care, we are not very much into it. And you were saying, for example, therapy for me, now I've been into therapy for almost a decade, but that was not the case. I used to have kind of a prejudice or pre-concept that held me back. Once I allowed myself to that treatment, to that journey, my goodness, my life changed so much. But we tend to think that self-care is manicure, is a spa in the middle of the chaos, right? So I want us to explore a little bit of you serve women from all over the world, as you said, from Dubai to Brazil, different nationalities.
And more, from Singapore as well.
From Singapore, amazing. So different nationalities, different cultures. What does these women have in common, regardless or despite of the nationality?
Yeah, so I really work with women from every single continent, at least like, from Australia, also from some African countries, women not just born there, but also living there. So I really work with women from all different cultures and countries, and I'm counting my countries. So far, it's been like 35 different countries. And the commonality is exactly what you said, like one of the things that you mentioned, people pleasing. And you mentioned naturally, and I was like, it feels like it's natural because we are somehow raised like that in patriarchal society. It's like this societal conditioning, the familial conditioning, the way that our mothers and grandmothers and grandmothers were raised. They were mainly, women who were there just to serve their family, to raise their kids. Before, just like less than 100 years ago, women were not really working or having careers or having their own bank accounts or whatever.
Voting.
So nothing, yeah, none of these things, a lot of these things, yeah. So voting and women, then it feels like women had naturally this role, but it wasn't really always like that. We find evidence now from ancient cultures which were based on matriarchy, like the women were the leaders. And you even hear people like Dr. Joe Dispenza say women are born natural leaders because through centuries they had to take care of everything and everybody and how everything fits together in the picture, so that it's kind of for the highest good of everybody involved, not just like profit line or like we want to please our customer and we don't care about our employees or how happy they are. So women were conditioned, in my opinion, more to be like that, right? And that's one of the common things that I'm definitely seeing with women, and women struggling also to kind of voice that out, but not be seen as too much, as aggressive, as nagging, as too demanding, which it goes both for professional life, but also for private life, for relationships, because there is a stigma put upon women when they are trying to voice their opinions and how they even just share their feelings. There is this stigma that follows women that they're not always met with even just basic understanding or just curiosity or given space to even say what they think.
Oh yeah.
So that is what
Surrounding.
I notice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, again, you deal with women from all over the place. I have my community here and I have those conversations with friends. And to me, the common discussion is exhaustion, right? And
Yes,
simple,
yes.
simple things. I remember my mom, she couldn't go to bed without cleaning the kitchen. She just couldn't. It was
Yeah,
like,
but the thing is, I feel like women don't even say that they say they're exhausted, but they don't say it from the awareness that that is actually a problem. It's kind of like accepted. It's the normal way of being. We are exhausted and this is how it should be. But it's like, no.
yeah, we kind of normalize these, right? Those
Yes.
invisible tasks, kind of cleaning the house, taking care of the kids. I was just here, so before coming to the podcast, sending my kids to school, and today it's kind of an appreciation week for teachers. So you have the card, you have the treat, those kind of things
Yeah,
that go almost invisible, but someone needs to do it and needs to keep the things running. But at the end of the day, you leave me kind of you are with the impression that you haven't done much, because those are little things that
yes,
together are a lot. And then
are a lot.
exhaustion is definitely a shared feeling. And what I want to hear from you, that is someone on the other side of this fence, right? Of self-care, of retreating ourselves, how important it is. Because like therapy, that not many people see the value of it. I believe that not many people see the value of the true self-care, which is not manicure,
Yeah,
right?
which is
So
not hair, whatever
yeah,
people do, extensions, manicure, yeah, just like a massage, all these things. Like, this is all kind of more on the outside, and
yes.
unfortunately that's also again the cultural and societal conditioning. Women are conditioned that they need to look a certain way. There is a certain standard. That's all nice, but yeah, that kind of like it makes me sad when I see like women that they have their perfectly done nails, but when you look at them, they look so exhausted and tired, and run down that it's like something is
Even
not
to go do
matching
the
with this
nails.
picture.
Yeah,
Huh.
because in order to
Yeah.
go do the nails, they have to squeeze that time between meetings or between appointments. And instead of being a moment of retreat, it's a moment of
Yeah.
stress because it's not coming
Yes.
from
Yes.
within, right?
It's not coming from within, and that's the thing. Like, people are focusing more on the outside instead of on the inside, because they don't see, as you said, they don't understand the value. Like, they don't understand the value of going to therapy and how much it is helpful to actually do that. They also don't understand the value of that deeper level of self-care, of rest. That's why, like, I run a womb circle with a topic: what is your relationship to rest? And then we discuss all these things. Like you mentioned, my mother couldn't go to bed before she cleaned the kitchen. And like, my mother, whenever she sits a little bit longer, she says, we were sitting too long, let's do something. Like, we need to do something. It kind of doesn't make sense to sit this long, I feel useless. I'm like, mom, relax. And she's constantly tired, overriding herself, and she doesn't even realize. And like, I am grateful to my mom because she's such a, caretaker, and she's, serving the whole family. uh, but then it's also, it hurts me, it pains me, it makes me feel sad that even now, when she's 70 years old, she still runs on that pattern. I'm grateful that I have seen that pattern and I recognize it, and I said, I don't want to be like that. uh, but yeah, I feel like women, as you said, like, a lot of people don't recognize the value of this deeper rest, deeper nourishment, deeper self-care. And I keep saying that it's just going to become more and more relevant, because we live in the world that is, unfortunately, has become more polluted, more toxic with, whatever we drink, it consume. So it's not enough anymore to take care of your diet and food and have the best health insurance and go to the gym regularly. There are all these other things that you need to do from inside. That's why we see the rise in meditation, in breath work, in all these other kind of more work kind of modalities. And at least I see it because I'm in this world, but I can totally understand how somebody is like, what are these woo stuff, like, people who have never been to therapy, they would probably, like, it depends. Some people are intuitive and they feel, okay, this will help me, but some people will just like, this, how does this add value to my life? And uh, these kind of things you can really only understand once you experience them, or if you're really already somehow intuitively aware and have the connection with yourself, and you can sense, okay, this sounds like something that may help me, and then you decide to go on such a journey and try it. But we also see, like, the rise of retreat industry. There are so many retreats nowadays also for everything. And you see people not just going on whatever vacation. In the past, it was like, the thing was, you go to a, I don't know, 5-star resort or whatever. Now people want to go to a themed holiday, like retreat, and maybe like meet new people and whatever other goals. There are retreats for everything. And that's why this is right, because it's necessary. And yeah, those who recognize it, they jump on it. And I had people who came to my retreat who have been to many retreats before, and they say, like, yeah, I go every year to a retreat. It's kind of normal for me. But there were those who just like, I've never been. I came the first time and I love it. Now I'm gonna do it all the time. It's like, great.
Absolutely. You will start
Yeah.
seeing the value, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
Definitely.
let's shift gears here because we haven't talked about dating, and you are a conscious dating coach.
Yeah.
So, Anna, what is the most common mistake you see people making when dating?
When dating, yes. Well, first of all, just to put it in a context, I normally work with people who are like 30s, 40s, 50s, and people, when they come to that more mature age, the common mistake is that people view dating as something that they have been experiencing in their early adolescent age, and they are not approaching it in that conscious way. Everything, it seems just like a matter of luck. There is no big intention behind it. People just kind of go with the flow, which is okay. But then, if that kind of approach has not brought you any luck so far, then maybe it's the time to take a different approach. And I see that a common mistake is also, the second one is that people just are craving, because they feel so lonely, they're craving a relationship. As soon as they find something that is a little bit suitable, they want to jump into a relationship. And even telling me openly, like, yeah, I just want to, like, I want to skip the dating phase and I want to go into a relationship. It's like, great, but then you're just getting into a commitment and a relationship with somebody that you don't know, and 6 months down the line, or a year or two, you're going to be discovering the things about this person that you may not like, and then you're just going to waste another 2 years of your life. And then you're going to, say, oh, now it's even harder because I'm older, because whatever. So people don't want to go, let's say, through the pain of conscious dating, um, in order to have a long-term benefit. And I think that that's the biggest mistake that people make. And I try to always compare it, because I mainly work with people from corporate, also like business owners, entrepreneurs, but like people who are having some kind of a career. I was like, when you do your business, or when you're applying for jobs, you're like, it's a whole process. You go there, you talk, you don't go to the first job that is offered to you. Like, no, you're like really trying to, choose the best one. You're actively choosing. And that's what I say, like, in dating, you're also actively choosing. You're not just like, happy with the first person who showed up, and now suddenly you don't feel lonely. That void is filled, like short-term, you feel that short-term benefit, and then you just slip into something that you can clearly understand, after maybe a month or two maximum, that is actually not good for you.
Absolutely. And I think everything starts with you knowing yourself, right, Anna?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think that people look for happiness outside when happiness
Themselves,
is
yeah.
actually inside. As you
Yes,
said
same like the
before,
self-care.
absolutely. There is, I used to say that you can only give what you have. So if you
Yeah.
don't have happiness, how can you give it? Right? So
Yes, exactly.
everything must start with you. First of all, knowing yourself, who you are, what makes you happy, what brings you joy. And then once you have that great understanding, you start looking outside. But
Yes.
most of the time, we start the other way around, right? So, oh, I want to be happier. Let me go find someone. But
Yes,
no,
yes, yes. Going for the shiny things outside, thinking that they are going to bring the happiness. But that's the trick. Like, they do bring some kind of like short-term satisfaction. But then, yeah, if you are not brave enough to look deeper, and to really try to understand where does it go, or like, as I say, like, you're together with this, where is this ship sailing? What is your direction? What are you doing? What are you building together? If you don't know that, you shouldn't be getting into a relationship if your goal is having, a long-term relationship and a partner for life, so to say.
that's when it becomes addictive and later on toxic, because again, the
Yes.
foundation is not there, right? The long term, what we are building, what do we want to kind of a building life, what do we want to share, what are the experiences? It's
Yes.
very short term driven. That
Yes.
is passion. We know that passion goes away, and what kind of a long term is about love, but love requires a strong foundation.
Yes, and even love alone, that's what I say. Love alone is not enough. It's not enough to sustain a long-term healthy relationship. Like, there are so many people who love each other, but they still separate because, they haven't cleared off some really major things in terms of their core values, in terms of their lifestyle, which is again related to core values. What are their dreams? What are their aspirations? So they do love each other because they spent some years together, and it was nice and it was genuine. But then they have completely like different visions for life, and it can happen that people grow, apart. But if you have really been honest and you try to understand this from the beginning, and that's why it's conscious dating, it's not just dating. If you really want to build something long term, you can, but you need to be brave to kind of discuss these things early on, and risk that this may not be the right fit, and that you will continue searching. And that's like where people get distracted with these short-term benefits that they get from dating, and then then they lose more time, and then in the end they don't come to their goal. So that's why I always say, like, when you go slower, you get there faster.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely more. Oh my goodness. Anna, you are a must-have in every woman's life. So
Thank you.
my goodness. And I am pretty sure that we just scratched the surface here. I would love to attend your retreat. So tell us, if people want to hire you, women that wants to know more about your retreat or get in contact with you, what is the best way?
Okay, so if people, let's first start with the retreat, because that's the one that is happening quite soon. So it's July 25th to 30th of July this year in Greece, in Koufonisia. And then obviously annually. So it's going to be happening the next year as well, around the same time. I might be having another slot in some other time of the year, because I have quite a lot of interest for this retreat, but I haven't decided yet. So far, it's usually like end of July, and it's a beautiful time to go there, because it's just like that summertime in Greece is beautiful. I feel like a lot of people ask me, is it not too hot in Greece? It's like, no, maybe it's too hot in Athens, but in Cycladic Islands there is always breeze, and it's never too hot, and we don't even use ACs, even though we have them, because there is this constant breeze that caresses you. So one thing about the retreat, you can find the information on my website, which is Anna Costa. So however my name is spelled, because a lot of people are struggling with the correct spelling, double N or whatever C. So annacostacoaching.com, and then you can take the / you will find the retreat there at / unleashed retreat. You can also find a lot of information about my retreat, even here on LinkedIn. I have some posts. I have details on my Instagram account, which is again annacosta.coach. There is a highlight from last year's retreat, so you can really see all the experiences and things that we were doing there, as much as we were able to show it, because some like more intimate things we were not recording them, but there are all the testimonies from people and experiences and adventures that we did there. And then about working with me, as I mentioned, I work with people from all over the world, and normally we do 3 or 6 months coaching packages, because we always, in coaching, we always have a goal that we want to achieve, and I'm this person who's helping you get there. So depending on your goal, I design a personalized coaching roadmap, based on all the information that you share with me, that I take with you, and usually people come to me with an intention to find the right partner or improve their current relationship, affection, intimacy, or just feel like more thriving in their sexuality, irrespective of whether they are single or with a partner. And yes, I can also offer trial sessions and one-off sessions if somebody just wants to experience the work. That is also possible. So all this information is on my website, annacostacoaching.com, and as well as on LinkedIn, Instagram, and basically on other social platforms. But it's enough to mention these two, I would say.
Amazing, amazing. Anna, I cannot thank you enough. It was such a pleasure to learn from you all of those things. And I got inspired, and I'm pretty sure that the audience got inspired too. I will definitely rethink the retreat this year. So let me see if I can make it. But thanks for sharing your contact information. I will also make sure that I add them to my YouTube channel, to the LinkedIn, so people can find you, because as I said before, you are a must have in every single woman's life.
Oh, thank you so much.
I cannot thank you enough. That's all for today. Stay tuned. We have Rise Up CX Talks coming back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.